Junior NTR is in Devara. That's right. The Indian film that I don't know may have disappointed me more than anyone that I've seen so far. Let me tell you why right now. All right. Yes, Junior NTR stars as Devara and Vera, who is the son. He has a dual role in this sort of quasi action dramatic film that should be showcasing, I don't know, gravitas. I don't know what we're going for here. The film is it's a Telugu film. It's over on Netflix for us here in the States. And it kind of deals with a terrorist threat against the 1990s, and then the police go on this long interrogation tracking down who's dealing weapons and trying to figure all this out, and everything kind of takes place in that flashback. And it's fine. I felt that it was very tedious and slow to get there, and it also was not particularly believable and smooth with how it was getting to the real story, because it's like you go to this person, oh no, go to this person, go to that person. It's like, okay, guys, come on. Let's just get on with the story. And then it's all about these remote Red Sea villages where these smugglers are like basically like super pirates, right? They're able to steal goods off these pirates, and they are the ones that are connected to this terrorist that poses this threat. And it's all about the village and these chiefs that are kind of like negotiating amongst themselves, and how some of the wares will be shared amongst each other and benefit their villages and subgroups. And it's fine. There's a lot of like that Zack Snyder super slow-mo stuff I really couldn't stand. I also didn't feel like they kind of want it both ways. They want it to be in the 90s, but I don't really always feel like I'm in the 90s. It's kind of off. It feels like it's supposed to be more of a historical piece, but they also want to have some modern flavors and sensibilities as well. The film is clearly just a vanity piece for NTR. Like, I don't really feel like there's a whole lot to this movie. It's just sort of like this mindless, contrived thing about basically being on the water. I mean, but they're like crazy, silly, cheesy things, like the great white shark just leaps out of the water for no reason whatsoever. These men are bloodied, and actually, Devara is attacking men underwater at one point, cutting them open. And so, if there are sharks in the water, the sharks should be attacking those bodies. And in fact, one point, Devera is riding a shark, and there's bloody bodies everywhere. Like, I don't know. It took such an incredible suspension of disbelief because it's supposed to be in our world. Like, I understand if you wanted to have supernatural elements and you love that superhero stuff, because it's absurd. Like, there's a scene with NTR pushing two giant cargo containers, one in each hand, out away towards the ocean, and there's other people pushing back, and he's just doing like it is so Marvel superhero. And I understand this is a key element in a lot of what folks love about these films as part of the culture and their cinema and all that, but I think you do better when you pick a lane. Like, KFG got this right where he was almost invincible, and he was like always able to skirt death and be supernatural without saying it. I think RRR works because it feels like it was setting up like this mythology and this sort of like, are they really gods or not kind of thing. Like, it was all films that have done well and done better feel like it makes sense. Here, you can't have it both ways, man. You can't have people just like get stabbed and die and then also be able to kick someone through a wall. Like, you kind of have to pick one or the other. You can't really do both. So, like I said, this is one of the things that kind of feels weird. There's like dress and attire and elements that feel like we're in the 90s. And when we have Vera is, fast forward like 12 years, he's his son, and he's got a little love interest, but he's like played up as being this meek and sweet guy, and he's not about having conflict. He tries to sort of like cheat his way through arena fights and stuff like that, and it's all smoke and mirrors to the big twist, right? He's got his looks but doesn't have his courage. It's like, yeah, he's just not. So it was a fine story and subplot with the twist, but now it takes me to the biggest problem with the movie is, who am I rooting for? Like, they're terrorists smuggler suppliers. Like they're not good people. They got these villages. They're on the ocean, but you don't really see them fishing. You don't see them doing anything that provides means. And we're supposed to believe basically gun runners. I'm supposed to be cheering for gun runners. Like I don't know why I'd be doing that. And then why would I be cheering for this meek soy generic JV version, his son who can't face his manliness? And then even when there's scenes where you see him showing these extraordinary abilities like his father, he runs away from them as quick as they manifest. So you don't really know if you should be rooting for him. And now, again, if you've never seen this movie, a major spoiler coming up. So I'll just talk a little bit further about it before I get to the spoiler. But I just don't feel like uh, NTR's character because basically he turns on a dime when there's an attack with the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard arrests them, and then the Coast Guard, the captain's like, you're found out he's gonna be a dad, like right in front of them all. And somehow when this all goes sideways, that's his turn of heart. Like, oh, we shouldn't kill this guy. We shouldn't be the bad guy. And I'm like, it's it's all little stuff that makes but I have such a hard time believing that all of it has been fine until now. It didn't sell me on that turn. Now, I want to get into spoilers because really this movie was a mess and it was like where they wanted to go with the twist is it ruined the movie for me. I'll be perfectly honest with you. So, if you want to see the movie, that's fine. It's on Netflix. I'm grading this like a 2 out of 5. That's probably generous because it's kinda long. The second half of the movie, I thought was really bad with this twist and stuff. I just thought, "Oh, dear lord." So, the special effects I didn't think were very good. The choreography I think is bad. There are fight scenes where people are throwing punches or kicks, and you can clearly see they're not actually close enough to actually hit them. Some of the CGI is wonky because there's a lot of stuff done underwater or with water, which is always really challenging. It's hard to get that right. And then CGI animals, as we've seen multiple times, are always a little more challenging. So, all of that said, just not a great film. And definitely one of the worst, if not the worst, Telugu film that I've seen to date. All right, let me get to the twist. The twist is that Vera is the one all along. Devara is dead. Devara's been dead. And it's been Vera faking it. I don't know how he was playing dual roles and being an actor, how he was sneaking away to do these things. How was he training? How was he learning all these things? How was he disappearing and no one was noticing? He was really the one out at sea killing people or something. It made no sense whatsoever. And then there's like literally another twist is like that stinger scene of, well, who could have killed Devara then? And it's like, it's Vera. Vera, when he was a little boy, killed his dad and then created all this mythology. It's so retarded and dumb. Like, that makes no sense. I'm not going to root for some narcissistic teenager who murders his dad, thinks that he knows better, and creates this mythology, thinks it's killing all these other people in his dad's name and faking and lying to everyone as somehow the person I should be rooting for. Like, is Devara Part 2 just going to be called Vera? Oh, it's awful. So I'm going to say 2 out of 5. I think I'm being kind. I think if it's a 1.5 star movie, I would understand because you don't have a protagonist that I want to cheer for. And NTR is fine. I don't think there's anything special. I thought the musical numbers were terrible in this movie. They were much more intrusive, like a Bollywood film would be. Like you just stop the movie for these very crazy dancing. It didn't work into the story at all. They didn't do like ceremonial things where it should be a reason to sing or talk. They weren't. I don't know. I just everything about this movie was a mess, and I can just tell you that I'm pretty sure it's the worst Telugu movie that I've seen so far. I think there are other Indian films that I think have been worse. There's any movie I've been able to get through. I watch like 30 or 40 minutes and I'm like, I just can't watch the rest. It's just, a 3 hour movie. But as far as the Telugu movies, it tends to be those that I've enjoyed the most. That's why I keep going back to them because those are the ones that get recommended. I enjoy NTR. I enjoy many of these actors and performers. And the quality of the film, I think it's right there where it's so attainable that it could have been good. It just wasn't. It just was a mess. So that's my general take on this movie. All I can tell folks that love it or whatever, that's good for you, man. Tell you why I like it. Can't root for a bunch of smuggler terrorists and then make me feel sad when the son has some sort of crazy Lex Luthor type master plan to murder the dad, and then suddenly like that doesn't make him a good guy in any of this by any stretch of imagination. And then again, tons of technical issues that are just unacceptable. I mean, they're literally like there's like it is a Last Jedi fight scene bad where like fists aren't meeting faces and kicks aren't. I mean, it was bad. There are scenes that are bad. So anyway, that's my take on it. Maybe I'm alone in this. I know I'm very late to the game and seeing this movie, but that's my take on it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Pops.